For more, let's speak to our correspondent, Gulliver Cragg. Hello to you. Gulliver, what more do we know about this search?
Well, this search is taking place under the auspices of the huge anti-corruption investigation that the National Anti-Corruption Bureau and Special Anti-Corruption Prosecutor are calling Midas Gate, which for the past 2 weeks has continued to dominate the news in Ukraine, even while these negotiations for the so-called peace plan that you mentioned were going on. Andriy Yermak, who is Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff, has confirmed that the investigators did come to his apartment. They have not served him with a notice of suspicion so far. Several other people who are close to Zelensky, former business partners and 2 former ministers, have been implicated in the case. There are recordings that have been published in part by the anti-corruption investigators, and the people on the recordings have got code names instead of having their proper names. I think that this was what the conspirators in the corruption scandal actually used to refer to themselves. And there's somebody called Ali Baba. People think that Ali Baba on there is Andriy Borisovich Yermak. Now, what's been published so far doesn't implicate him directly in profiting from the kickback scheme, which saw at least $100 million in kickbacks being effectively stolen from Energoatom, the state energy company. Could have been used for protecting Ukraine's energy grid from Russian strikes, and there's probably more. But Yermak is not necessarily so far from what's been published accused of profiting from it. But what this Ali Baba on the recordings clearly is involved in is trying to hobble the anti-corruption agencies. Back in July, the parliament very hastily passed a law that would essentially have destroyed their independence. It's widely seen as having been an attempt to prevent them from carrying out the investigation that they've now published. And it is suspected that Andriy Yermak was absolutely behind this attempt to stop this scandal breaking.
Yeah, and for his part, Yermak saying on the messaging app Telegram, he's fully cooperating with investigators. Gulliver, Yermak was criticized before this scandal. How did he become so influential?
He has a hugely outsized role compared to what his official job title is. He is Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff. That doesn't make him foreign minister, for example. Yet he always travels with the president, sometimes without the president. He is often the leader of Ukrainian delegations abroad, most recently, of course, for those negotiations in Geneva with the Americans and 3 European powers. Some saw that as an attempt by Volodymyr Zelensky to turn attention away from the accusation against Andriy Yermak by placing him center stage in the whole debate about this so-called peace plan. That doesn't seem to have worked. The criticism of him and the way that he has amassed so much power to his side, whether it's by naming people who are very close to him to key positions or simply overriding the cabinet of ministers and the parliament. For a very long time, people have been worried about how much power Andriy Yermak has been gathering and how he wants to use it. There are a lot of people, politicians and commentators alike, calling for Volodymyr Zelensky to dismiss him, but the president seems determined at this stage anyway not to do that.
All right, Gulliver, thank you very much. Gulliver Cragg reporting.